Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. We are having lunch together today. I am here as a dietitian and your internet compadre to offer you some support if you were going to skip a meal today or if you struggle with eating by yourself. We're gonna enjoy some lunch together, bite by bite, to make sure that you are getting the nourishment that your body needs today. We gotta get my lunch thrown together first though. I am having some leftover pad thai that I got last night. So good. They gave me so much though, which I'm very grateful for because now I have leftovers for today. So we're gonna get this reheated. If you need to prepare your meal, now would be a great time to do so. I've gotten some requests to talk about my history of exercise and sort of like what my current exercise routine is like. And so I thought we could do that today while eating this meal and just sort of discuss, you know, my history of disordered exercise and how I've overcome it. And hopefully that will give just some good insight into, you know, what got me here, but also how you can make that change too if you are also looking to find more joyful movement in your life. First things first though, let's get this bad boy reheated. While that's heating up, we're also gonna make our fun beveragino of the day. You guys may have seen that I've been making Shirley Temples and someone told me to do a Coke with my like Shirley Temple ingredients, and apparently that's called a Roy Rogers. I'm learning a lot of new stuff thanks to you guys. So we're gonna make one of those today, or at least my version of it. So we're gonna do our Diet Coke. Gonna throw in a lime wedge. Something about lime and Diet Coke is just the best. Some grenadine, which I've also learned is apparently pomegranate. Did not know that. And then some maraschino cherries. That'll do. I went out to dinner last night with some girlfriends, which was just so fun. Always love catching up. And we went to a place that had like sushi and like some Thai food. They also had curry, and I'm embarrassed to admit that I have never had curry before. So I didn't get it yesterday, obviously, but I am gonna go back and try it because obviously curry is a very popular dish and I need to know if I like it or not. My problem is that I don't like spice, and usually I know you can kind of choose like what spice level you want. Like with this, they asked like how much spice you wanted. I just haven't tried it. I don't know why. All right, friends, let's go in for our first bite together if you haven't yet. Even better the next day. All right. Let's talk about it. My history with exercise, where we're at now, how we got to this place. So I've always been super active. I grew up playing sports, played soccer my entire life up until I graduated high school. And we've told the story before on the podcast of why we became dietitians, how it was really rooted in disordered eating thoughts and behaviors and wanting to be the thinnest version of myself. I thought I was going to be a sports dietitian for a while because I was just so involved in sports. And once I got into college, I got very into weightlifting. And that I think is when my disordered eating like really became the worst, was during college, which is funny because I was studying to become a dietitian. But as we've said on the podcast, like, so many dietetic students go into dietetics because they have that disordered relationship with food, and it just gets fueled a lot of times by a weight-centric education. So freshman, sophomore, honestly, even junior, most of senior year too, I had this very disordered relationship with exercise where Purdue University, where I went to college, has like this amazing gym. It's called the Co-Rec, and I ended up being a personal trainer there. I worked there most of my undergrad as well. It was a really great place to be, and so I was there all the time. I woke up at 5 a.m., if not earlier, every single day to do a workout before class, and then I would, you know, pop back in and out in between classes to work out with my clients. Sometimes I would go more than once a day for my own personal workouts. I like literally lived there. At the same time, I was also using my Fitness Pal, calculating my calories. I vividly remember like having 2 sausage links for breakfast one day and that like completely derailing all of my grams of fat for the day because I was counting macros. It just was not a healthy relationship with food or exercise. And we were taking classes where we had to do this for class, like for a grade. We had to, share a food diary and calculate days of eating, how many grams of whatever are in these different foods, which of course we like need to know to be dietitians, but it definitely just fueled the fire a lot more. Another bite, if you're joining along. So, it wasn't the weightlifting that was the problem. As I'll get to, I still lift weights. I think it's very beneficial for your health to lift weights. I encourage a lot of people that I work with to do so in whatever capacity they're able to, but we can definitely do too much. Like, more is not always better when it comes to exercise. Like, we all know that it's good for us. Everyone knows that like movement is good for our body, but if we are doing it to an extreme that, like I was, for example, it's no longer good for us. Like, my skin just felt so inflamed. I was breaking out all the time, like hormonal acne, which I still get when I feel really, really stressed. Now it's more, mental stress than it is like physical stress. But back then I was putting so much physical stress on my body because exercise is physical stress. And once again, it can be beneficial. The outcomes that we get from it can be so great. But again, too much is definitely a possibility. I also was like walking so much, getting so many steps in a day, just the nature of being on a giant campus and working multiple jobs and having classes all over campus. So needless to say, I was over-exercising and under-fueling. And it really was not until COVID happened that I really started to slow down. What, of course, started that off was the gyms were closing down, so I couldn't go to the gym for a while. I mean, probably upwards of a year, I want to say, before I felt safe going back again. I ended up graduating college during the peak pandemic, and so I was no longer at Purdue. I was at home, starting my first adult full-time job. And that's when I started to invest in some home workout equipment, dumbbells, resistance bands, kettlebells, yoga mat, that sort of thing. And I realized that I actually liked doing that more. I really loved the gym setting. I still do, but I am such an introverted homebody that I learned that I really just want to be at home. And I was able to get a workout in the morning without getting up at the butt crack of dawn because I could just roll out of bed in my PJs and do a workout in my living room. So the pandemic just gave me a chance to experiment with different types of movement and see what I liked. Versus in college, I was enjoying what I was doing, but I was doing too much of it, and I didn't really realize that, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if there was a day that I just flipped the switch. It has been a gradual progression and change over the last 5-10 years. And that goes for both food and exercise for me. I've said on the podcast a few times too that it's only been within the last year or two that I've gotten to this place where I am now, where I feel, 98% recovered in terms of my relationship with food and exercise. I finally understand health at every size, weight neutrality, intuitive eating. Whereas before I knew about these things, I knew that, eating disorder risk increases as we go on these diets. We know that diets don't work, that, different size people can be healthy. BMI is garbage. But it really, really has not been until recently that I've fully understood all of that and known how to talk about it. Even now, I'm terrible with words, which is funny because I run social media accounts and have a podcast that I co-host. But I guess I'm just telling this part of the story to say that it's going to take a lot of time and experimentation and curiosity about yourself and where you come from and why you have this relationship with food and exercise. So when it comes to exercise, try different things. If you like going to the gym, that's really great. Go to the gym. If you like staying home and doing home workouts, there's all types of ways you can do that. maybe you do invest in something like a Peloton, or maybe you watch like YouTube videos and do like weight workouts with, the girlies on YouTube. Maybe you set up like a home gym, which is what I'm trying to do right now, slowly working up to getting a squat rack, bench press, barbell, and all the plates that I need so I can do my deadlifts. Because I really, really do enjoy that. I enjoyed the heavy lifting aspect of what I was doing at the co-rec at Purdue. But once again, it was just, I was underfueled. I was doing it with the wrong mentality. I was not allowing for rest. It was like peak stressful time in my life. I mean, dietetics at Purdue, if you know, you know, it was a very challenging time mentally too. I'm talking a lot and my food is getting cold. So as for right now, like what do I do now? Like I've said, I really enjoy the weightlifting, and so I do that. I'm working on building my garage gym up. Right now I have my dumbbells, my resistance bands, kettlebells. I'm a personal trainer, and so I thankfully have the knowledge to know what to do with those things. I enjoy putting workouts together for myself. I love just going in there and just like lifting whatever feels good, which has also been a huge change. I know back in college I was always like following these strict programs, ones that were just like on the internet that I found. At that point I wasn't educated enough to like know how to create my own, one that involved like progressive overload, and I wasn't fueling right either. But now I can just like go out in my garage and lift some weights if I want to. I've also really gotten into my walks. When I was at college, I just naturally was getting in so many steps, but now that I have Finn, we love going on our WALKs together. He's right there and he knows the word walk. So Ross and Finn and I love going on like family weekend trips where we can go hike. We find trails that we can go on. So now that I mention it, it really sounds like I'm doing the same things that I was doing back then, between getting my steps in and lifting some weights. That's what I like to do. It's what I've always liked to do, aside from, playing competitive sports growing up. My intention behind it now is just so much different, and I allow for rest. I'm eating enough. I know how to fuel my workouts before and after. And there's so many other forms of movement out there. You can do yoga. You can take Pilates classes. You can join competitive sports teams, like adult leagues, just for fun. Maybe you get into running. I know I hate running, so I'm never going to train for a half marathon or anything, and that's okay. You don't have to do any of these things. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to be a runner. You can do what you actually like to do. And when you go into it with a mindset of, I'm doing this to make my body feel good and because I actually kind of enjoy it, not only is it going to feel better that way, but it's also going to be something that you stick with a lot more consistently. If you're just going to the gym because you think you have to go to the gym, that motivation, that fire is going to like dwindle so fast. This is so good. How are you guys feeling with your meal? Now might be a great time to pause. Ask yourself if you are still hungry. If so, keep eating. I know I'm going to. If you're feeling like you're getting pretty close to that feeling of fullness, even if you have food left on your plate, feel free to, put it away and stop eating. I do challenge you though to think about if you are actually feeling that fullness, or you feel like you shouldn't eat more food because it is too much for what your body needs. That can be a challenging thing if you're not quite to that place yet where you fully trust your fullness cues. It takes practice, and sometimes that will mean eating past fullness, and that's okay. I don't really know what else to share about, this exercise history thing. It's a tale as old as time in the world of dietetics. It's just so crazy because I thought I was gonna become like a competitive bodybuilder and do like bikini competitions. Then I wanted to do a powerlifting meet, which is so different from being a bodybuilder. But I think it was good that I got to experience all those different things and be exposed to so many people who they themselves were doing those different things. And I think that's part of what led to me wanting to do like first bodybuilding and then powerlifting. Was I was seeing at Purdue others who were doing that. And once again, I thought oh, that must be like what you have to do if you want to be healthy is do a bodybuilding show. But now I realize that is not a good fit for me at all. I don't like being the center of attention. I really enjoy eating food without having to track things. And I'm just getting to a phase in my life where I'm enjoying rest and slowness and just not trying to be so competitive all the time with others and myself. Total sidebar, back to the curry thing. I think I want to try it at a restaurant first before I try making it myself. But if you guys have any good curry recipes, and again, I know nothing about like the different, regions of curry, like who makes what. So I'm a total novice, open to anything as long as it's not spicy. I know some of you guys are probably big into curry, so I'd appreciate some tips, recipes, different types that you think I'd like. I'm wanting to experiment a little bit more. This Midwest girl does not get a ton of exposure to foods like that around here, unfortunately. Another check-in. How are you guys feeling now? I am still going. I got a few bites left, and I think I'm going to finish all of this. It is tasting and feeling real good today. But once again, even if you have like 2 bites left, if you're feeling full, it is okay to stop. And if you're not quite sure, just know that depending on your circumstance, you can eat again whenever you're hungry, whether it's in 20 minutes or in 3 hours. I'm very excited because I have no plans the rest of today or tomorrow, except for just like editing and recording videos. I'm very excited to relax. For those who are following along on my reading journey, I am reading Harry Potter for the first time at the age of 27. That might sound crazy if you read Harry Potter like 20 years ago, but better late than never. I want to read them and watch the movies. Do you think I should read all of them and then go through the movies, or do like the first book, the first movie, the second book, the second movie? Let me know. I don't know how well the movies compare to the books because I am completely out of touch with Harry Potter knowledge. So let me know. I'm about like halfway done with the first book. I'll probably finish it today or tomorrow. That was so good. If you are still enjoying your meal and you are looking for support while you keep eating, I have other videos that you can watch while you are finishing up whatever you are enjoying. Otherwise, let me know if you guys are enjoying these videos, sort of just chill, hanging out, eating a meal together. We can definitely keep these coming. Also, let me know what topics you want to hear about. I got stories to tell, but sometimes I need a little bit of a push to know which stories to tell. So let me know. Make sure you subscribe so you always know when I'm posting videos like this one. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.